have fun at the MGM Grand and, go shopping, have fun and hang out. I want to do that.
I defend him because I believe that
the undefeated champion Floyd Mayweather silenced by whispers of financial ruin. They say the IRS and FBI are closing in, that a massive $402 million scam has brought the money man to his knees. Is the empire crumbling? Has everything been seized? For weeks, the world has speculated, critics have piled on, but Mayweather remained behind his wall of silence. Until now, in a stunning revelation, Floyd breaks his silence, addressing the rumors head on. Get ready, because the truth, straight from the legend himself, is about to drop. You won't believe what he reveals. The whispers started subtly, then grew into a roar that threatened to engulf the carefully constructed world of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Headlines screamed about potential bankruptcy, intricate financial entanglements, and a colossal real estate venture gone sour, allegedly leaving investors short by a staggering $402 million. The specter of federal agencies like the IRS and FBI loomed large in speculative reports, painting a picture of an empire under siege, perhaps even on the verge of collapse, for a man synonymous with unimaginable wealth. Flaunting stacks of cash in garages full of hypercars, the notion of financial distress seemed almost paradoxical, yet the rumors persisted, fueled by court filings and anonymous sources. The silence from Mayweather himself only amplified the speculation, allowing narratives of downfall to take root in the public consciousness. Was the money moniker about to become a tragic irony? Was the master of defense finally cornered by forces outside the boxing ring? Then the silence broke, not with a whimper, but with the characteristic defiance that marked his 50-fight undefeated career. Floyd Mayweather stepped forward, not necessarily to dismantle every single allegation piece by piece, but to assert his narrative, to reclaim control over
legit, bona fide boxing, pure boxing chaos. I'm talking about the kind of stuff.
The story of his life and finances. In his first public address on the swirling controversies, the tone was unmistakable, a blend of indignation at the accusations and a steely resolve that suggested resilience forged over decades of battles, both literal and metaphorical. He didn't outright deny facing challenges or financial headwinds. Instead, he framed them as inevitable parts of a high-stakes journey. Look, everybody faces bumps in the road. Mayweather might reflect, his voice calm but firm, cutting through the noise. You think you get to this level without taking hits, without setbacks? Life throws punches, business throws punches. The difference is, I know how to take them, how to roll with them, and how to come back stronger. They can say what they want and write what they want. Bankruptcy seized everything. That's noise. I'm still here, still. Standing, still building. Setbacks don't define me. My legacy does. Central to his counter-narrative is a massive tangible asset, a significant portfolio of real estate in the heart of New York City. Mayweather detailed his ownership of 62 apartment buildings, primarily located in Brooklyn and the Bronx housing. Over 1,000 affordable housing units. He placed the value of this portfolio at a cool $42 million, a substantial figure by any measure. But beyond the dollar amount, the emphasis was on how he owned them. He repeatedly stressed that these properties were his and his alone. Let me be clear on this. Mayweather would insist, leaning into the point. These buildings, all 62 of them, they're mine, 100%. No partners, nobody else involved, just me. That's my investment, mine alone. I built this. It's not just about owning property. It's about owning your future, securing something real. It's about power, independence. While they're talking, I'm building bricks.
Just one little thing, and you get that?
Crazy.
Both barrels right back in your face? Are you kidding me? Does that not qualify as biting the hand that has fed you, or at least defended you over and over again on the show? And just a quick thought, and I don't want to get off track about this, but I got to tell you, I get sick and
brick by brick, creating something that lasts, something that provides for people too, affordable housing that matters. This investment serves multiple purposes in his narrative. It's proof of ongoing financial stability, a strategic diversification away from boxing-related income, a symbol of his business acumen, and a statement about his self-reliance. Owning them outright without partners underscores his desire for total control. Theme consistent throughout his career. This need for control, this projection of unassailable success, inevitably leads to discussions about his famously extravagant lifestyle. The private jets, the mountains of cash displayed on social media, the fleet of luxury cars, the blinding diamond jewelry. These have long been targets of criticism, often dismissed as crass vanity or insecure boasting. Mayweather, however, reframes this ostentation. He argues it's not merely for personal gratification, but serves a larger purpose. Motivation. People see the jets, the watches, the cars. Mayweather explains, his tone shifting slightly, becoming more philosophical. They think it's just about showing off, but it's bigger than that. It's about showing people where I came from, what I came from, and what's possible. It's a symbol for every kid growing up in a rough neighborhood, feeling trapped, maybe seeing their parents struggle. I want them to look at me and think, he did it. He came from nothing, faced adversity, and reached this level. It's not vanity. It's visual proof that the dream is attainable if you dedicate yourself, if you work harder than everyone else. If I can motivate even one person to push harder, to believe in themselves, then it's worth it. This perspective casts his luxury not as an end in itself, but as a tool, a beacon intended to inspire hope and ambition in those who might see reflections of their own challenging circumstances in his past. And that
was on HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about now? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, I don't know. I'm just telling you, man. It is what it is.
That past is undeniably challenging, a crucible that forged the relentless drive defining his career. Mayweather doesn't shy away from recounting the hardships of his youth in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He speaks openly, sometimes painfully, about a childhood marked by instability and scarcity. People don't know the real struggle, he might say, his voice lowering, tinged with raw emotion. Sleeping 7 deep in one room, sharing a bedroom with my sisters while my mom did her thing, dealing with her drug addiction. It wasn't easy, seeing my dad locked up, that hits hard too. You grow up fast. That hunger, that fire people see in the ring, it didn't start in the gym. It started way back then, fighting just to survive, fighting for a better life. His relationship with his father, Floyd Mayweather Jr., is a complex thread woven throughout his life story. His father, a former boxer, himself introduced him to the sport, but also spent time incarcerated during Floyd Jr.'s formative years. Later, Floyd Sr. became his trainer, a dynamic filled with both discipline and palpable tension. Floyd Jr. has spoken about going to the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, essentially alone, navigating the immense pressure without the close familial support system many athletes rely on. These early experiences, the poverty, the parental struggles, the feeling of having to rely solely on himself, became the bedrock of his ambition. The pain wasn't just endured, it was converted into fuel, an unrelenting determination to achieve a level of success and security that would insulate him forever from the precariousness of his youth. This intense drive extends directly into his approach to business and investment, which he characterizes as inherently risky but potentially hugely rewarding. He readily admits that not all ventures succeed, acknowledging a surprisingly high failure
dollars per year in total cash flow. Almost immediately after doing this Black Spruce multifamily deal, Floyd invested another huge chunk of money, but this time into an office deal in New York. On this deal, he didn't just buy a bunch of buildings outright, he bought into the office landlord 601's largest portfolio, which is a $10 billion collection of 18 buildings comprising of over 10 million square feet. A source told The Real Deal that they wouldn't disclose the exact amount invested, but this investment would make for Mayweather's most significant investment to date. In case any of you guys are curious, here's 601's website. They say they have 25 years acquiring the country's most well-known commercial properties with this formula for success. And check out the portfolio section of their webpage. So Floyd is not going to be buying into every single one of these skyscrapers, but he's going to be buying into a chunk of them It's a combination, from what I understand, of some of the buildings in New York and
Rate. Let's be real, business is tough, Mayweather concedes. You gotta risk it to get the biscuit, right? I'd say maybe 90% of the investments, the ventures I try, maybe they don't pan out. 9 out of 10 might fail. That's the game, but you can't be scared to take those shots. Because that one successful venture, that one calculated risk that pays off, that can change everything. He points to one pivotal moment as the ultimate example, his decision to buy himself out of his promotional contract with Top Rank Boxing, tweet. It was a colossal gamble at the time, requiring him to pay $750,000 to gain control of his own career. Many observers thought it was madness. People called me crazy, he recalls, giving up that kind of money, but I saw the bigger picture. I knew my worth. I wanted control. That $750,000 bet on myself, it turned into $750 million, maybe more, from the fights I promoted myself. Pacquiao McGregor, those wouldn't have happened like that under the old deal. Best decision I ever made. You have to be willing to bet on yourself even when nobody else sees the vision. That's how you build an empire, not by playing it safe. This high-stakes philosophy, embracing the possibility of failure in pursuit of massive rewards and total control, is presented as a core tenet of his success, applicable both in and out of the ring. However, this same relentless pursuit of financial gain, particularly in recent years, has drawn significant criticism from figures within the boxing and sports media world. Prominent commentators like Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith have been vocal in their disapproval of Mayweather's continued participation in exhibition matches against opponents far outside the realm of professional boxing, such as social media personalities and MMA fighters with limited boxing experience. They argued
right out of your hand.
Hey, Skip, they might be leading us both in the ring.
They might.
Like, get it,
here we are.
I need to get paid.
This is incomprehensible to me, and I fell out of my chair yesterday when I first read this story or heard about this story. In fact, a friend tipped me off and said, you got to read this. But this man made around $230 million in 2015, and this man is, you won't hear me say a discouraging word about Floyd when it comes to IQ, smartness, his ability to make and handle money.
Yes.
But he's just flaunting, as you said, he's flaunting his opulence. He's also flaunting basically his middle finger at the IRS. You cannot do this.
No.
You will lose. This is one foe you can't outrun or outdance or outsmart or play defense on. You just can't get away with it. You can try for a while, but the clock is just, that meter is just running and running.
that these events, while undoubtedly lucrative for Mayweather, dilute his hard-earned legacy. As one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time, the critique centers on the idea that Mayweather, the master technician who went 50-0 against elite competition, is now reducing the sport to spectacle, prioritizing payday over pugilistic integrity. Sharpe, a former NFL star known for his strong opinions, has questioned whether the need for money is driving these decisions, suggesting it undermines the image of immense wealth Mayweather projects. Smith, a longtime sports analyst, echoes these sentiments, worrying that the memory of Mayweather's strategic brilliance inside the ring is being overshadowed by these less than serious contests. They posit that true legends should protect their legacy, and engaging in fights that lack genuine competitive merit risks tarnishing the very achievements that made him legendary. This public scrutiny highlights the inherent tension between Mayweather's identity as a businessman focused on maximizing earnings and his status as a boxing icon whose historical standing relies on the perceived sanctity of his undefeated record and the quality of his opposition during his prime. Mayweather, in his defense, often frames these exhibitions differently. He might argue they are a smart way to continue capitalizing on his global brand without enduring the grueling demands and physical risks of professional championship boxing. I call it smart business, he could counter. I entertained people for decades at the highest level. Now I can still entertain, travel the world, connect with fans, and make great money doing it without putting my body through a 12-round war. It's entertainment. People pay to see it. Who's it hurting? My legacy is cemented. 50-0, that doesn't change. This is just another chapter, another way to leverage the brand I built. He positions it as a calculated business move, a victory lap that happens to be extraordinary.
The next year, and the next year, and the next thing you know, the bill is so big, you either have to sell everything to make good, or they come and get everything. Now, you remember when Red Fox, he told a story that he was in trouble with the IRS. They took everything, even the Mickey Mouse watch on his wrist. That's how they do you, Skip. Skip, I had to pay a debt, Skip. It cost them more to send me the postage in the return letter that I was going to put that 37-cent and that $2 check in, but they wanted their paper. You know, Leona Helmsley, the great heiress and real estate lady, she said only poor people pay taxes. They said, bull jive, we finna take your rich ass to jail. And she had to go to jail for some time. Skip, these people don't play.
They do not.
They won't. I don't care if it's 37 cents, I had to pay one of those. If it's $2, I had to pay one of those. Skip, I'm sending them their money. And you know what? When all else, I'm gonna err on the side of overpaying them.
Ordinarily profitable rather than a sign of financial desperation or a disregard for his boxing heritage. The current financial allegations, therefore, arrive at a complex juncture in Mayweather's post-professional boxing life. They force a confrontation between the carefully curated image of untouchable wealth and the harsh realities of high-stakes finance and potential legal troubles. His response, emphasizing resilience, highlighting tangible assets like his New York real estate, justifying his lifestyle as motivational, grounding his drive in past hardships, and celebrating his risk-taking business acumen, is a comprehensive effort to control the narrative. He is fighting back, not with gloves in a ring, but with words and strategic disclosures in the arena of public opinion. The narrative surrounding Floyd Mayweather has always been one of extremes: extreme talent, extreme wealth, extreme discipline, extreme controversy. These latest challenges, centering on alleged financial impropriety and potential bankruptcy, represent perhaps the most significant threat to his empire outside of the ring. His public statements are a crucial part of his defense strategy, an attempt to reassure fans, investors, and perhaps himself that the foundation remains solid even if the facade has been momentarily shaken by tremors of scandal. He continues to project confidence, leveraging his life story as evidence of his ability to overcome adversity. The troubled kid from Michigan who became the world's highest paid athlete is a powerful archetype, one he returns to repeatedly. The implication is clear: if he could conquer the challenges of his youth and the best fighters of his era, he can certainly navigate these financial complexities. The $42 million New York real estate portfolio serves as a concrete rebuttal to claims of insolvency, a tangible symbol of his ongoing business activity and wealth. His insistence on sole ownership
At the end of the day, you know, like I said, man, I'm a strong individual. Nothing can throw me off. Nothing can throw me off key. I'm always focused on what I got to do.
And that's going to be the case August 26th.
August 26th gonna be real interesting. Like I said, and I'm not backing up. Remember I told you that.
You're not backing up.
I'm not backing up.
We ain't gonna see you backing up. We ain't gonna see you retreating. We ain't gonna see you moving away from that left hand of his.
I am human. Now hold on.
Reinforces his image as a self-made man who controls his own destiny. Yet the questions linger. The sheer scale of the alleged $402 million real estate scam raises serious concerns, regardless of his other assets. The scrutiny from critics regarding his exhibition fights continues to fuel speculation about his financial necessities. His defiant response addresses the immediate storm, but the underlying issues may require more than just public statements to fully resolve. The narrative is ongoing, a complex interplay of legal proceedings, financial realities, public perception, and Mayweather's own efforts to shape his legacy. As he navigates this turbulent period, Floyd Mayweather remains a figure of intense public interest. His life story, marked by dramatic highs and lows, continues to captivate. Whether viewed as an inspirational icon of self-made success or a controversial figure whose lavishness sometimes overshadows his achievements, his journey is undeniably compelling. The current challenges add another layer to this complex legacy, testing his resilience in ways perhaps even more profound than any opponent he faced in the ring. His breaking of silence is not an endpoint, but rather a significant move in an ongoing battle for his reputation and financial future. The money moniker is being tested, and the world is watching closely to see how this chapter unfolds for the undefeated champion. This entire situation is complex, and the full story is still developing. Floyd Mayweather has presented his side, emphasizing his resilience, strategic investments, and unwavering self-belief honed through a lifetime of overcoming obstacles. From his perspective, the noise about bankruptcy and seizures is just that, noise, while he continues to build his legacy, symbolized by assets like his solely owned New York real estate empire. He frames his wealth not as vanity, but as inspiration, a test
Like,
They're gonna ask you, are you guilty of such a thing?
I mean, they can say whatever they want to say. I don't, even like every day in my life, certain men like to deal with one woman. Me, myself, I deal with how many women I want to deal with. I live my life the way I want to live my life. I do what makes Floyd Mayweather happy, no different from anyone else that's watching this interview. You have to do what makes you happy. And Floyd Mayweather gonna do what makes him happy.
But you're also thoughtful enough where you don't want to come across as misogynistic.
Testament to the heights achievable through relentless hard work, even when facing immense personal and professional risks, including the potential failure of most ventures. While critics question his recent exhibition bouts, Mayweather sees them as smart business, leveraging his brand in his own way. Coming months will likely reveal more about the substance of the allegations and the true state of his financial affairs. But one thing is certain, Floyd Mayweather is actively fighting to control his narrative, just as fiercely as he fought in the ring. If you found this deep dive into the latest surrounding Floyd Mayweather insightful and want to stay updated on stories like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button for my YouTube channel. We break down the biggest headlines and give you the context you need. Don't miss out on future updates and exclusive content. Subscribe today. The cultural impact, Mayweather as a modern icon, Floyd. Mayweather's influence extends far beyond the confines of the boxing ring. He is not merely an athlete. He is a cultural icon whose life and career have intersected with broader societal trends, from the rise of social media to the evolving dynamics of celebrity culture. In many ways, Mayweather has become a symbol of self-made success in an era defined by rapid technological change and shifting values. His embrace of platforms like Instagram and YouTube has allowed him to maintain relevance in an age where traditional sports stars often fade into obscurity after retirement. Through these channels, Mayweather offers fans an unfiltered look at his opulent lifestyle, sharing everything from private jet rides to luxury car unveilings. This direct line of communication has transformed him into more than just a boxer. It has made him a content creator, influencer, and entrepreneur all rolled into one. By leveraging his personal brand in this manner, Mayweather has ensured that his name remains synonymous with what
I'm listening.
Mayweather that's then broke every record in boxing. When we get to talk about highest gate, even when they was like right now, they saying, oh, Mayweather fight didn't sell out. Well, you know, when they do sell out, I think I'll reach somewhere like, you know, the live gate, it reached like 80-something million for this fight. We already had 60-something million. For those that saying that Mayweather is not doing numbers anymore. As far as taking less punishment, I took less punishment.
Wealth, ambition, and larger-than-life excess. But this constant visibility also invites scrutiny. Critics argue that Mayweather's reliance on social media perpetuates materialistic ideals, reinforcing the notion that success is measured solely by possessions and public displays of affluence. Others contend that his posts, while entertaining, lack substance and fail to inspire meaningful engagement with issues affecting marginalized communities from which Mayweather himself emerged. These criticisms highlight the tension between Mayweather's desire to project invincibility and the expectations placed upon individuals who achieve such extraordinary levels of fame and fortune. Despite these critiques, Mayweather's ability to stay culturally relevant cannot be understated. So it's sad. A time when athletes are increasingly encouraged to use their platforms for activism or advocacy, Mayweather has chosen a different path, one rooted in individualism and personal empowerment. His message, distilled to its essence, is simple yet powerful. If I can do it, so can you. Whether this resonates as aspirational or alienating depends largely on perspective, but there is no denying the impact of a man who refuses to conform to anyone else's script. Nice. Money versus meaning, the philosophical dilemma. At the core of Mayweather's story lies a philosophical dilemma that speaks to universal questions about the nature of success. Is it better to prioritize financial gain and personal freedom, even if it means sacrificing certain ideals, or should one strive to leave behind a legacy that transcends monetary value, focusing instead on contributions to society or the advancement of a craft? For Mayweather, the answer has always leaned heavily toward the former. Throughout his career, he has consistently placed currency above all else, viewing money not just as a reward for hard work, but as a form of validation, a quantifiable.
Dwayne Wade training his son, you don't see Dwayne Wade playing against just anybody. He's not doing it. You haven't earned that privilege. It's a privilege to be in the company of greatness, in their venue, in their habitat, in their specialized, home, per se. Floyd Money Mayweather should not be letting just anybody in the ring with him. That's my
measure of his worth. This mindset has driven him to pursue opportunities that others might dismiss as beneath them, whether it's fighting Logan Paul or endorsing controversial products. To Mayweather, every dollar earned represents another step on toward securing his place at the top of the pyramid. This approach has drawn both admiration and criticism. Supporters laud Mayweather for his pragmatism and business acumen, arguing that he embodies the ultimate rags to riches narrative. Born into poverty and raised amid violence, he clawed his way to the pinnacle of his profession through sheer determination and skill. Along the way, he learned to navigate the complexities of fame, finance, and power, emerging as a master strategist capable of turning virtually any situation to his advantage. From this perspective, Mayweather's emphasis on money is not shallow but deeply practical, a reflection of the lessons he learned growing up in a world where survival often depended on resourcefulness. Critics, however, see Mayweather's fixation on wealth as indicative of a deeper void, an inability or unwillingness to seek fulfillment beyond material possessions. They point to his reluctance to engage in philanthropy or mentorship as evidence of a man consumed by ego and self-interest. While other athletes have used their platforms to address social injustices or give back to their communities, Mayweather has largely remained silent on these matters, choosing instead to focus on expanding his empire. This perceived lack of altruism has led some to question whether his achievements will truly stand the test of time, or if they will ultimately be overshadowed by his penchant for spectacle and self-promotion. Ultimately, the debate over Mayweather's philosophy boils down to differing interpretations of what it means to live a meaningful life. For some, meaning is derived from service and sacrifice. For others, it comes from achieving personal goals.
Scumbag, it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always I'm this, I'm that. It just, I don't know.
Would you entertain a conversation like someone briefed you guys just for the sake of just, you know, just, you said he doesn't really know you.
Who?
Just Terrence. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't even hear. Bear with me.
Oh, what you were saying about that?
Well, it was just the fact that, is there a possible that the bridge, like, if someone could call you guys talk, like, hey, you know, I didn't like this, because, you know, how us media, we ask questions.
I mean, it just, if he say he don't like me, it's like, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? But, I mean, like, me personally, I don't know him. Like, I don't know him personally, though. I actually like the way he fights and shit. But
is there a confusion, though, or is maybe the people
and living authentically? Mayweather's journey suggests that these two paths need not be mutually exclusive, but reconciling them requires a level of introspection that he has thus far avoided. The psychological toll, fame, fortune, and isolation. Behind the glitz and glamour of Mayweather's public persona lies a more somber reality, the psychological toll of living under the relentless glare of the spotlight. Despite his outward confidence and bravado, those closest to him have hinted at moments of loneliness and vulnerability that underscore the isolating effects of extreme wealth and fame. Mayweather's upbringing played a significant role in shaping his worldview. Raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, by parents who struggled with addiction and incarceration, he grew up witnessing firsthand the destructive power of poverty and despair. Boxing became his escape, a means of channeling anger and frustration into something productive. But even as he achieved unparalleled success, the scars of his childhood lingered, manifesting in various ways throughout his adult life. One recurring theme is Mayweather's difficulty forming lasting relationships outside of his immediate family, friends, and associates have described him as fiercely loyal yet deeply guarded, reluctant to let anyone get too close for fear of betrayal or exploitation. This wariness is understandable given the countless individuals who have sought to profit from his success, but it has also left him emotionally isolated at times. Even romantic relationships have been fleeting, undermined by trust issues and the demands of his high-profile lifestyle. Moreover, Mayweather's relentless pursuit of perfection has taken a toll on his mental health. Known for his obsessive attention to detail, he approaches every aspect of his life with the same intensity that characterized his training regimen. While this discipline undoubtedly contributed to his success in the ring, it has also created a...
Now, here's where Mayweather get on that BS, bro. All right, here's where the shady business starts. A person directly involved in the deal with Mayweather said that Mayweather had purchased a small minority ownership interest in the portfolio with options to expand that stake over time or acquire the buildings in their entirety. It is not clear if Mayweather will exercise those options. The person asked to remain anonymous to speak about a confidential arrangement with Mayweather. So off the rip, he lied, right? He misrepresented it to come across as if he owns 62 units, is a $400 million deal. I have no partners in this, no partners. This is Mayweather money. I got no partners. This is my money. When that's not the case at all. Now they say that Mayweather have like a minority stake, a very minute minority stake. That could simply be, yo, we gave this man like 1 share for ambassadorship.
A pressure cooker environment in which failure, or even perceived failure, is unacceptable. The weight of maintaining an unblemished record, combined with the expectation to continually outdo himself, has likely exacerbated feelings of anxiety and stress. Yet Mayweather rarely allows these vulnerabilities to show in public. Instead, he projects an image of invulnerability, using humor, bravado, and material wealth as shields. Against criticism or doubt, this duality, the contrast between his private struggles and public persona, adds depth to his character, revealing a man who is as complex as he is contradictory. The legacy debate. How will history judge Floyd Mayweather? As the years pass, historians and analysts will inevitably revisit Mayweather's career, seeking to contextualize his achievements within the broader landscape of sports history. Already, opinions vary widely, reflecting the polarizing nature of his persona and choices. On one side are those who view Mayweather as one of the greatest boxers of all time, a technical genius whose defensive prowess and ring IQ set him apart from his peers. His undefeated record, coupled with victories over legendary opponents like Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, and Canelo Alvarez, cements his status as a dominant force in the sport. Fans of this perspective often cite his ability to adapt to different styles and opponents, as well as his unparalleled professionalism and dedication to preparation, as hallmarks of his greatness. On the other side are critics who argue that Mayweather's legacy is tarnished by his willingness to prioritize profit over principle. They point to his exhibition matches against non-boxers, his reluctance to take on risky fights during his prime, and his sometimes contentious behavior outside the ring as evidence that he valued spectacle over substance. From this viewpoint, Mayweather's accomplishments are diminished by his refusal.
This time, an actual representative from Mayweather Company, okay? And Business Insider said, hold on, bro. You have this particular building outside of the original deal they capped about, another building. They say, yo, you got this building on your website. Do y'all own this building? Their response will shock you. On his property website, Mayweather listed 1196 Avenue of the Americas among his holdings. Ownership of the building is a 3-story property in Manhattan Diamonds District that is filled with retail tenants in the jewelry business. It also has not been sold, according to property records, right? But Mayweather has it listed on his website. So when they asked the Mayweather spokesman, he stated that hasn't closed yet. So they got properties on their website that they haven't bought yet. They're just listing it to flex for the public. This is ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's like a pile Mayweather's face at this point.
To fully commit to the purity of the sport, opting instead for safer, more lucrative endeavors. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Mayweather's career defies easy categorization because it embodies both the highest ideals of athletic excellence and the murkiest depths of commercial exploitation. He is a paradox, a man who simultaneously elevated and challenged the conventions of boxing, leaving an indelible mark on the sport regardless of how one chooses to interpret his actions. What is undeniable, however, is that Mayweather's story will continue to inspire conversation and debate for generations to come. Whether celebrated as a trailblazer or criticized as a cautionary tale, he has secured his place in the annals of history, not just as a fighter, but as a figure who embodied the complexities of ambition, identity, and resilience in the modern era. Final thoughts. The enduring allure of money Mayweather. In the end, Floyd Mayweather's life and career serve as a microcosm of the human experience, marked by triumphs and tribulations, contradictions, and clarity. He is a man who has lived unapologetically on his own terms, refusing to conform to anyone else's expectations. Whether admired or reviled, he commands attention. And isn't that in itself the ultimate testament to his enduring allure? As we reflect on his journey, it becomes clear that Mayweather's true genius lies not in his punches or promotions, but in his ability to capture the imagination of millions. He reminds us that success is multifaceted, messy, and deeply personal. Mosaic shaped by circumstance, choice, and chance. And while the debates surrounding his legacy may never reach a consensus, one thing is certain: Floyd Mayweather has left an indelible imprint on the world, challenging us to reconsider what it means to win, to lose, and to live life boldly in between.